The Gold Rush 561 says, how many games does Lance have to play to fairly judge him against Jimmy Garoppolo? Well, that's a good question. To me, I don't think you really know what a quarterback is until he started 50 games. And I think Jimmy's getting right to that 50 game mark right now, and which is why his stock is down. I think people feel like they know exactly what he is at this point. But if you would judge Jimmy Garoppolo after 7 starts or Colin Kaepernick after 7 starts, you might think that they were going to be Hall of Famers. So I don't know. To me, it's 50 starts.
That's a great point. I think, because I would say you're always looking for 40 plus starts coming out of college, right? Okay. So I would say give me 40 NFL starts, but that's how many years is that? I mean, you're talking about years.
I mean,
it's going to take, because it's also about, are there flaws in their game that cannot be corrected? Are there things that D coordinators who get paid a lot of money to look at the film, say, you know what, this guy is really good at a play action, but man, he has nothing when he's moving to his left. All right, let's force him to his left consistently in big moments, and let's see if he can respond.
Or in Jimmy's case, he won't throw down the field or outside the numbers. Once you get to start 50, the book is out on you. And you can really tear up the league at really quickly. Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo, Lamar Jackson, when there's no scouting report. We're actually on our heels. We have no idea what this guy likes to do or what he does well or what he does poorly. But by start 50, it's all there. And it's every sport. You're hot. The opposition adjusts. You adjust to the adjustments. If you can, you're a Hall of Famer. If you can't, you're another one. You're another pro athlete who was I don't know what I'm saying.
We saw it in the Arizona game when Colin Kaepernick threw the 2 pick sixes. The Arizona had basically just said, you know what? Colin can't throw with any anticipation. He's got to see the guy open. So and he's got a long release. So what we'll do is we'll just drop into a soft zone, keep everybody's eyes peeled on the quarterback, and we'll just read his eyes. Just peel into a soft drop, watch the quarterback's eyes, break on the ball. Have confidence that what he's going to show. Have confidence that he can't fool you and manipulate you with his eyes. And he couldn't, and he never adjusted. And seriously, he was out of the league very, very shortly thereafter.
And Jimmy, to me, has never adjusted. Like, he still is wherever he goes. If he ever plays again, he'll be forcing those 15-yard passes over the middle, and everyone knows they're coming. Even though he's been doing it his whole career, they were more effective 4 years ago when people thought, "Hey, he might throw deep." No, he's not going to throw deep.
It's like the defenders who drop into zones against Garoppolo. If you notice late in the down, they cheat towards the middle of the field. So if you're going to cheat in or cheat out against Jimmy, the book is cheat in, and he'll throw you one. Why? Because he doesn't have the confidence or the arm strength to get it out in the deep quadrants outside the hash. So why guard that? Why guard green grass that he can't complete passes against? Cheat to the middle, keep your hands up, and be ready for the pick. And we saw it.
Why does Jimmy Garoppolo throw so many interceptions in practice? Because that defense knows him.
Yeah.
They know him. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a reason.
It's true.
The more you get exposed. So anyway, your question to me, it's 50. Larry said 40. 3 years. Because look, Lamar Jackson, I feel like, what is your impression of him now? The 3 years in a row, his numbers have gone down. D coordinators have really improved their approach to him and Greg Roman. Now the ball's in his court. He's got to show something new. I still think he's very good and very young, but it's a very interesting crossroads in his career.
Well, look at his touchdowns, interceptions the last couple of years. I think it was like 35-6 3 years ago. It was like 29-6 last 2 years ago. Last year was like 16-13.
Yeah, what's going on? Now, I'm sure Greg Roman
adjustment.
I would fire Greg Roman. To me, he's super overrated and he never adjusts. But again, I don't know. I mean, you got to isolate the variables and figure it out, Baltimore, but that's not the problem we're working on here. Benny RSM says, will there be a joint team practice this year? Let's see if they laugh at Trey like the Chargers did. Jim, I think so. We're going to find out.
Was it this year?
In Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to say Vikings maybe, huh?
I haven't booked that trip yet, but I'm going to. If it's in Minnesota and it's not cold, I always wanted to go to Minneapolis.
Mankato. Get out to Mankato for practice.
Sean says, Jimmy fans have a heads I win, tails you lose scenario. If Trey plays poorly, see, I told you he wasn't ready. If he plays well, see, making him wait worked. Yeah, well, it's all right. Everyone sort of goes through life.
This is the most over-discussed topic in the world. Why? Because everybody knew that Jimmy, once you went with Trey, you were going redshirt year. So it's not like we've had redshirt 2 years or redshirt 3 years. Everybody knew there was going to be a red shirt year. There was a red shirt year. I mean, seriously, if the media we've all fallen in a hole and didn't ask any questions about it, we'd emerge from this going, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Trey got the red shirt year. That makes sense. Instead, it's been this haranguing and back and forth and Jimmy and the trade and this is the plan. Year one, sit. Year two, play.
Essentially, they handled Lance the same exact way the Ravens handled Lamar Jackson, except at a certain point, the Ravens lost confidence in Joe Flacco and benched him mid-season. The Niners never did that with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're different quarterbacks, but essentially, like, Trey Lance got gadget snaps in training camp. That's what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. You could argue they were following the same exact script, so I don't understand why. The only difference is that Trey Lance was the top 3 pick. Lamar Jackson was the 30th pick in the draft. I just think it's been a long time. The way the league has evolved, it used to be if you draft a quarterback, he sits a year. Now, if you take a quarterback in round 1, he usually starts at least 8 games. So I think people hadn't seen it in a long time. But Kyle and Mike Shanahan are old school. That's how they are.
I mean, look at how long did Montana sit? And who did he sit behind? He sat behind Steve DeBerg
for a year and a half.
Nothing against DeBerg. He was a good NFL backup. But Montana was clearly the better athlete, the better movement, had way better movement. But he still sat. He was a product of the 79 draft. He didn't get the starting job until 81.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to look at how old he was, too. He was 23. And as a rookie, 20. He didn't really – wasn't a full-time starter until he was 25. Trey Lance is 22. I mean, theoretically, if Jimmy Garoppolo was going to start again this year, it wouldn't be outrageous in the historical context of football. It's just it isn't done anymore.
Who's the best quarterback in the game? It's probably Rodgers. He sat for 4 years.
Yeah, it's just ever since the rookie wage scale came into effect, people are like, we got to get these guys on the field. Right. It's such an economic advantage. But the Kyle and John are super old school. Anyway. John's George says, great show, guys. BT Dub, Mike Silver mentioned about 7 to 10 sources between him and Colin. They will talk more about his arm fatigue today. They're really milking this. Are they going to talk about Matthew Stafford's arm fatigue too? Because we're going to talk about that.
You know, when we asked Steve Young last week about arm fatigue, he laughed.
He laughed. Zachary Couch says Garoppolo knows Lance is better. Listen to his last presser with Niners. Okay, I'll go back and listen to it again, Zachary. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer, but thank you for giving us the tip. The Jedi says redshirt year, horrible idea, should have played the kid. Yeah, the redshirt year to me was very 1997.
See, I disagree because the one thing that you can't figure out is the game moves so much faster. The athletes are so much faster. The windows are so much smaller. So you don't really know how your quarterback's going to react to feeling more pressure. There's a saying, you got to learn what to do before you get physically beat up. So now Trey's got a much better idea of Kyle's offense, all the intricacies, the NFL game, the skill set of his receivers, the speed of each one of them. He's got reps with everybody. And I don't know if there's a real way to measure comfort. You know what I mean? It's hard to measure comfort.
I can't prove it, but I have a feeling. What was Kyle like? 8 games under 500 entering last season, whatever he was. If it was flipped and he was way above 500, I think he just would have gotten the growing pain year over with, as opposed to delaying it. Because I feel like what last year was making a run with Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, but it was also sort of rehabilitating.
It's time to win.
It's time to win, man. You can't miss the playoffs 4 to 5 years. I don't care whose son you are or how good of a play designer you are. You need to make the playoffs. So I think you can't start a 21-year-old quarterback and be like, hey, man, save my job. I know you just got here and it's really my fault, but save my job, please. Because that's what he asked Jimmy to do, and Jimmy did it, and Kyle's like, all right, now you're out.
The number one, I mean, and you and I probably could, we'll probably have a doctorate in pissing people off. But I will say this, the number one thing that I get a sense pisses all Niner people off, from the coaches to the players, is when you bring up Kyle Shanahan's actual record. They don't want it. They're like, what?
The first couple of years, that wasn't his fault.
He inherited and all these. I mean, their fangs come out. They're pissed because they know that Kyle's a good coach and that you're trying to attack a good coach. What do you want him out of here? I mean, I got into it with Kawakami over this. I've gotten into it with Niner representatives, vice presidents. They do not want. I mean, everything else is like you are what your record says you are, except for Kyle's record. He's way, way, way better than his record says he is. And don't even think about going down that road. And I get you. I'm with you. All right. I'll retreat back to my corner, but it is what it is. And I think there is some pressure to win games because of that record.
He's still 3 games under 500. He was 10-7 last year. They squeaked out that victory week 18 against the Rams. Let's say they lose that game to the Rams and they go 9-8 last year instead of 10-7. Then he'd be 4 games under 500. He would have missed the playoffs 4 to 5 years. And the conversation around him this offseason would be a whole lot different. A whole lot different. We're not talking about him and job security. I mean, we would have, though, if they lost that one game. It's pretty interesting. There was a lot at stake for him last year.
Well, and it also kind of shows the difference in the NFL through the years. Bill Walsh went 2-14, and then he followed that up with 2-14, and then he followed that up with, I think, 6-10. So they went 13-3 in that 4th year, I believe, but they had.
It was the 3rd year.
Was it the 3rd year? I thought they went. Didn't he go 2-14, 2-14, 6-10,
79, 6-10, and 80, and then Super Bowl in 81?
Okay, maybe the Niners went 2-14, but maybe it was pre-Walsh. So he has a 2-14 and then a 6-10.
Fire like 2 guys before? Didn't he go 1 and done on 2 guys before?
Like Pete McCulley and somebody else. Yeah, I mean, it was. I was a little kid at that time, but. But it was, I guess at that point, though, you inherited a team and you were given that 5 years. Now it's like everything's dialed up and the speed's dialed up and you better turn it around now. I think Kyle Shanahan's an excellent coach. I really do. I think he's 49ers' best head coach in a long, long time. But I also think that the Niner people bristle when you bring up his record. Like, don't talk about it,
It's a reflection of his own poor decision making. He's a bad decision maker. He's a good play designer. He's a great coach developer, and
he's a great play caller. Play sequencer.
Until the playoffs, 4th quarter. Yeah. He is. He can be. He can get very hot. His players play very hard for him too.
They do. They don't shake it.
His decision making under pressure at the quarterback position in the offseason, just in general, leaves a lot to be desired. But they've
lost a lot of close games. We talked about that was a couple of streams ago. They're 20-26 one-score games. They're 13-13.
Yeah, it's not good. Swan Song says, is Larry going to be at Niners camp this week? Yes.
Yes.
The Jedi says, my problem is we're giving Jimmy credit as if he's a Hall of Fame or consistent Pro Bowl. That's Non says case by case. Yeah, people are like, he's not perfect, but he's just a top 10 quarterback. Like, if he were a top 10 quarterback, there'd be a market for him. Yeah.
He's like 17-20 in that range.